Hello, and thank you for joining me. You're here with data science teacher Brandon, and I wanted to show in this class, or in this video, how to use a Python class to better or to assist your data analysis. Sometimes it might not always be necessary, but if you can have this class ready, I call it Seaborn 2.0, just for fun because really Seaborn is just amazing. And really you could use Seaborn style customization features to generate kind of different templates, different styles that we can then reproduce very easily for the rest of our plots. So I just imported standard data science libraries, importing our Titanic data set. And here what I have is just so that I can look at the colors. And so if you wanted to change the color palettes, just get a sense of what the color palette is going to be. Go through that. So use the color palette here, and then just look at the right here. Just printing out the color palettes right here. These are the different color palettes that we use for business colors. So let's start at the top. Light, light, dark, business, and earthy kind of colors. So a bit more earthy tone and stuff like that. Kind of again, up to you. If you wanted to change them when you redo this again, I'll go through this a little bit slower. You would want to change this self dot palette equals the palette. So it's equal to when it's light, it's going to be this palette. When it's dark, it's going to be this palette, and so on. Okay, we're going to start at the beginning of the class. So we're going to go class Seaborn 2. Like I have any right to improve Seaborn. So what we're going to do first is this init function right here. And what the init function is going to be is when we go Seaborn, and in this first initial Seaborn 2 right here, you can see that I don't have any brackets or any parentheses after this. It's going to be this essentially the init function, right? So big size is equal to the big size. The init function is going to be all the stuff that happens on initialization when you do the first initialization of your Seaborn 2.0 plot. And so here we do all of them, all the different colors, text, color, style, font, we get all these things right here. And then notice that we're putting in self. Self is going to be kind of like a little, in this sense, it's going to be like a little packet that holds all of the different variables. It's a lot easier to pass them between all these functions without writing this long list of variables, arguments for each function that we're going to do. We're just going to pass it to self. And we're just going to packed into that, which is really, really handy. Or even just simple data analysis and stuff like that, just to make these writing the code a little bit easier. You can use a lot in deep learning experiments as well. Something like this. So, and here what we're going to do is just fig size, title, all these different kind of options that you can set. You can add a whole bunch more. This is really just an example how to do this in a simpler sense, but you can really kind of expand this to be so much more complex. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do the set style. Create a function. I'm going to be passing it itself. Now the difference between a method and a function is a method must always take in an argument. And what it does is it takes usually the self argument, right? Because a method is part of a class. And then so we're going to be passing it, all of these are going to be passing the self. When I call set style in the future, this argument, this first argument doesn't kind of like ignore, I'm just using it outside of the class. Okay. This isn't really the first position. The first position should be the next spot after this set. Okay, so this kind of will not be a position when you're calling the specific. This is how we pass the packet of variables back and forth of arguments for a function. So self. So if self dot style, so we're going to access the style variable from this, and if it's equal to light, this set a palette that we looked up like above, that we chose up above, and then we're going to go sns dot set style. So I change the ticks, change the axis grid, grid color, and grid line style. So just kind of playing with lots of the features. And this is a really cool thing because this will now see what it gives you. It looked great by default, but it gives you a bunch of ability to go a step beyond that and do a lot of customization, really make your plots look unique. And the defaults get kind of boring after a while. I know everyone has the same defaults, and it's really not that hard to change the styling. But so it's going to be light, we're going to do that palette. If it's dark, we're going to do this one. If it's business, we're going to do this one. And if earthy, I don't know if you really need to do earthy palettes, but to do something different, we tried earthy here as well. Okay. And so I'm going to do that. So it's going to do that. And I'm going to, at the very end of this, underneath the if statements, I'm going to go sns.set palette. Its palette now is equal to the palette that we had, self.palette. So this is how I'm going to change the color of like the bars, the elements in my plot. So after I do the set style argument, I'm going to do here in the next argument, I'm going to do the plot. So we're going to make our plot. I'm going to do self.setStyle. So when I'm calling an argument inside of class, I have to not just set style, I go self.setStyle. It's giving me access to it. Notice I'm giving the self argument to this first function right here. I'm also going to give it the data frame, feature one, feature two, the x and y, I guess you could think, hue, kind, and so on. Just different arguments that you would normally pass to it. Here what we're going to do, if feature 2 is none, then we're going to plot the title and figure. If, then we'll go if hue, so if we have a hue argument, to do column equals hue. So whatever the hue is that we're passing, let's just go into and change the color. We're going to do if hist, do a hist plot, if swarm, do a swarm plot, if box, do a box plot, if line, do a line plot, and if joint, do a joint plot. Now these are not all of Seaborn's plots. These are the ones that I use the most commonly. See by far, the hist is great for its distribution, swarm is great for when you want that extra detail, box is great for just very easily identifying outliers. That is good for time series, and joint is good for the bivariate analysis. Okay, so but there's a whole bunch more that you can add to this pretty easily. So we're going to do that. And then to use it, I'm just going to this where I actually use it in the light style. So when I go Seaborn, I'm going to do the fixed size, title size, font labels, font weight, text color, style. So I'm going to set all of these. Then I'm going to create my kind of like SNS. We don't import it because we're initializing this variable. Then to use this SNS.plot. So the plot, we set the style right at the very beginning of this function. And then notice I'm not passing itself. It's the first one is df. Here, df. Now it becomes just the second one into the method. It's the first one we're calling as the function. Okay. And then age, the first feature, hue, kind, all these different things right here. It's changing the path. We do swarm, we'll go kind equals swarm. Do box, we do kind equals box. And then you can see, and I'm adding a title here just to change the light stuff here. And light styles to identify it. And then all the different things, feature two. So we have two features, we have X and Y. You can see X and Y. It's dark style as well, the exact same thing. The only difference here is when I initialize S2, I'm going to change the style to dark. So now it's going to be a dark palette. It's kind of cool that you can just now set this and use S2 like SNS, like Seaborn. Now it's going to do a lot of different plots. You can call different plots a little bit almost more like a little bit more like pandas in the sense that the way you're going to change the argument is the kind equals joints. Or the type of plot you do is kind. But really just again, this is a simple sense how to use a class to assist your data analysis. Look at the kind of cool plots. The business style and we've got earthy style, a little bit more soft colors and stuff like that. Okay. So thank you very much for joining me. It's a great class in developing our Seaborn, going up here, our Seaborn class. So remember, we just do the init arguments, we set the style argument, and then we do a plot. And you can do a lot more with this if you wanted to create an individual plot for, or like a your own his plot, your own joint plot, your own, each, such and such. And then what it will do, give you a lot more flexibility. This kind of gives you an all-in-one little package, making it nice. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you next time.